One of the things about Home Assistant is that you will be constantly working on it. And so when you create your automations and you got it to where it's working, but then you notice something that just did not work correctly, at least not the way you want it. And I don't mean a big faux pas. It was just something that it's like, you know what? I need to add something to that. So let me show you this real quick. I want to show you this particular automation. It's a living room motion sensor. And naturally, if there's motion, it does something. It goes to this trigger ID. And if it's been off for 1 minute, if there's no motion for 1 minute, it will trigger this ID. I also have another one that does it in 30 minutes. And this is that trigger ID. And I have one for sunrise. Too easy, right? Now, I have a living room cube, the Acquire cube. And so when I have it up at certain numbers, it will turn on the do not disturb input boolean. Okay. And if that is off, and if this input boolean is off, it will not trigger any particular items. And so I wanted to make sure that, if let's say we're cleaning, and I happen to go into the bathroom, start cleaning the bathroom, but I know I'm going to come back to the kitchen at some point. I may want to keep the lights on at full blast without any type of issue. So I added those input booleans or whatever I have a particular guess over. And for some reason, the living room motion sensor does not see any movement for whatever reason. Let's say we're perfectly still. Well, the lights, I don't want those lights turning off. I want it to stay on. Or what if I set that perfect mood of light and then we turn on the TV, I put on the do not disturb. I don't want these lights to trigger at all. So that's what I have that for. Now let's go to the first option. I'm going to talk about what I used before, and I'm going to talk about what I've changed. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and delete the ones. Oh, no, let's keep it on. So when triggered by living room on, remember this is the living room on, it starts detecting motion, and there's a trigger ID. Here's the one for off, 1 minute, off, 30 minutes. And this is the sunrise one. Okay, so with the living room on being triggered, after sunrise, before sunset, activate living room motion on day. That's been disabled. That's what I had before. Instead, I decided to go with something a little extra. I'm using a circadian rhythm of values, which will change the whiteness of the light bulb throughout the day. So, and I now use this on all light bulbs that are showing white. And and so it literally is like a brownish color, a little bit more red in the white. And then at high noon or when the sun is right above my head, it goes to a bright white or a bluish white. And then it comes back down to a reddish white towards the end of towards the evening hours. And so if I walk through the living room, I want only certain lights to turn on to give just enough light. Um, Now, I live in a home where there's only one window in the kitchen and there's a window in the living room, and that's it. So the living room tends to be a little bit dark, but I don't want that much light, just enough to add a little bit of something in the living room to give us extra light. It will slowly turn on within 5 seconds. Okay. And that's what I've already had. What I'm going to do is take away the scene because I don't use the scene anymore. Okay. Like you notice I use cut. That's because when you use delete, it gives you a confirmation window. Cut takes it away completely, but it does store it in the, I guess, the Home Assistant clipboard. All right. Now, um, living room on after sunset, before sunrise, which is at night. It will. I have these color lights that after sunrise, or I'm sorry, after sunset, the lights, each of the ceiling lights, it changes colors throughout the night. Very slowly, but it's at a 1% brightness. It's wonderful. I love it. And when I set that up, I was like, that's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Let's keep that. So, but it when we go to sleep, and it does it all night. I do it because it's beautiful. I really do not much care about it staying on all night. So it just stays on. Um, but if someone happens to be walking through, what I wanted was to use this particular calls to service for those same lights that turn on during the day, right? To slowly turn up the light, not change any of the colors or whites, just to turn up those lights to 20%. And that's it. Now, that is something I just did just now, and I wanted to make sure that it did just that. Now, when living room one, after sunrise, before sunset, it does this. Wait a minute. I think I'm missing something here. Okay, I am going to change that because after sunset, before sunrise, wait a minute. Yeah, let's change that because this cuts it off altogether. So this is option three. After 1 minute, if it's after sunrise, before sunset, which is during the day, let's cut that. I want those lights to turn off. And I'm going to choose the lights. Okay, there we go. And I want them to transition off in 5 minutes. And to me, that works so much better because then it will just slowly turn off. And that's absolutely perfect. After sunrise, before sunset, this is during the day. No activity in 1 minute. It just turns it off. Now I have 30 minutes. Sunrise and sunset. It will, after 30 minutes, if there is, okay, let me do this. Okay, call service light, turn on kitchen and living room, or turn off, I mean. It will, after 30 minutes, after sunrise and before sunset during the day, it will turn off all the lights, living room and kitchen, with a 5 second transition. Too easy, right? Now, this is at night. After sunset, before sunrise, after 30 minutes, it will run the script to turn the ceiling into a beautiful light show. But I'm going to add something else to that. I'm going to set off, turn off, and I'm going to choose entity, living room lamps. All right, now in this particular, this is a group actually, and it contains east, north, south, west lights. So it's going to run that only, and it's going to slowly turn that off. The ceiling lights, which is this, will just change color. I can also add the splash. No, the splash is included. Okay. North, east, splash is also going to turn off. There's a little filler light in the corner that needs to turn off. And I think that's it. Yeah, top of my head. So yeah, that will turn off and only the ceiling lights will do the dancing. Now I wish I know you can reorder. And if you go to reorder, you are able to reorder this, but I cannot reorder this. So I wish there was a way because I would like to put this up with the 1 minute item up here, but it doesn't have that. Oh wait, I think this is where I got confused. There's already a living room off, sunrise, sunset. Living room off, sunrise, sunset. Oh, actually, this one can't be deleted. This is only a copy. I accidentally put that in here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this. All right. Now the new one I just added. So what was happening is with those color lights, nothing was turning them off when the sun came up. And but I also thought about, but what if we're in that room? And so if we're actually in the room already, I want those lights to stay on as long as possible. So living room sunrise off. Remember that one trigger up here? And then confirm living room motion sensor occupancy is clear for 30 minutes. So it will look into the well, it will read the sensor's data, and if it shows a clear state of 30 minutes, then it will call service for the entire kitchen and living room to turn off. And that means that there's no movement whatsoever. Now, the problem is I do have cats and dogs. And so they may be running around, they may activate the motion sensor during this time. But I have woken up in the morning, especially on Saturday and Sunday, and it's well past sunrise and the lights are still on. And so now I don't know if the pets were up and running, because I was asleep. So there's no way of me telling and to see if um well, I guess I could look at the motion sensor logs, but I didn't think about that. But what I want to happen is if there is no activity of 30 minutes of sunrise, go ahead and turn it off. Now, my thinking is if there is activity during this particular period, naturally, I have this one, the 30-minute one, after sunrise and before sunset to turn off everything anyway, after it clears for 30 minutes. it's going to turn everything off anyway. So that's already a part of this automation. So this will take care of it, or this will take care of it. Either way, it's going to get taken care of. All right. So now let me show you what I mean by the cubes. So I have a acquire cube, and if it changes, side up action, which means if it changes side, it will read confirm that the site is one, and it will turn off the do not disturbs. It doesn't really do anything to the lights. It just turns off the D&Ds. Okay. If number two's up, it does turn off all the lights. Now this is something I've actually wanted to fix. Um, because there's no need to have one that, so now keep in mind I did this when I didn't know anything about service calls. So I'm going to delete all of these. Yeah, and turn those off too. And this will make the automation visually. I mean, like when I'm looking at it, it doesn't look as confusing because I can already tell that this is going to do what it needs to do. Choose area, kitchen, and living room. And that's it, right? I don't need anything else. Living room. Okay. And transition is set to off or 5 seconds. And there we go. So it's going to turn the D&Ds off, which is just input booleans. And it's also going to turn off the kitchen and living room all in one swoop. And it will have a cool transition effect as well, which is what I'm looking forward to seeing. So that's upside. It doesn't matter if this is day or night. If I want to turn off the lights because I want to watch TV in the dark, I want this particular action to happen. Now, of course, it does turn off the D&Ds. Um, I'll leave it for now. If I want to change it later, I can. If it goes to 3, nothing happens. So this is like a future. I added this here because I wanted it under 3. Now, under 4, on the 4 side up, sunrise and sunset. Okay, sunrise and sunset. It will call service living room ceiling of different colors, and it will call the living room circadian rhythm. Now, this is actually the living room lamps. I have a script which I can show you right now. Actually, let me bring up this. Okay, scripts, living room. All right, so this script will turn on, and now keep in mind this is a room or a group. Actually, it's a group, and it contains all 4 of the living room lamps to do circadian rhythms at 100%. That's all it does. So it's calling that particular script. It is also setting random colors, which I can show you as well. Which one is it? Single lamp? Okay. Single lamp. And I explained the random colors in a different video. And so you can watch that video somewhere in my playlist. And so if you look at this, you got 360 versions of color from red to green to blue. And then you got the um, the saturation. So I'm using 80 to 100 because that's how saturated I want it to be. That actually gives you um, 100 minus 80 is 20 times 360. That gives you 7,200 colors. This all matches up because if you got 100 times 360, that's 3,600 colors. It doesn't quite match the confusing, but oh well, continue. And so this lamp will be the same color, this lamp will be the same color, and so on and so forth. Now there is, now that I'm here, there is something I wanted to do. Not that one. Individual? No. One side. It was a one-sided one. I wanted to copy this first. Okay. This is, I'm actually doing something right now of something that I've been meaning to do for a very long time. And now that I'm here, I'm actually doing it. Okay, and I need to take away this and this. Okay, sorry folks. I Since I'm here, I decided to go ahead and work on it. There we go. All right, and save. There we go. All right, I always want to fix that. All right, too easy, right? So now, so that activates on the 4. Now activate living room cube 4. I want to change that. But the 4, oh, I know exactly what it is. Okay. I'm getting rid of this because I'm not doing scenes as much anymore. So I'm going to call service. All right, well, let me explain what I'm doing here. So if it goes to 4 after sunset and sunrise, okay, here's the deal. 5 is my favorite number. The number 4 is my wife's favorite number. Okay. So my wife, she doesn't like it dark. So on this particular item, it sets the living room lamps, which is the lamps on the floors. It's a tall lamp that sits on the floor. It sets it to the circadian rhythm of 100, and also it creates a beautiful colors in the ceilings. Now I'm going to make it where light on, okay, and it's just the living room. It's a entity. It's a group. Living room lamp lights. This is a group. What I'm going to do is set the, okay, that's bright white or blue white, and this is more red white, but not quite right there. How about there? Because actually, you know what? It's good to know what your ranges are. And I don't know. I'm switching to inner light bulbs, but currently there's singlets, tech specs, does 2700. So this is good to know. Um, you want to make sure that you understand, because if I had set this to 2000, it will ignore it. It will set the white, but it will set it to wherever the previous white was. If so, I want to keep it at 2700. If I try to go below this, it might ignore it and just do whatever, because it's like I don't know how to do that. So I'm just going to put it at whatever temperature, color temperature that it was. You would think that it will, if I put it at 2600, that it will try to go as low as possible and just set it at 27. That's not the case. At least what I found of Singlet. If other light bulbs out there does differently, then that's that particular bulb. But with singlets, it does ignore anything that it cannot do. All right. And so the brightness I want is 255. All right. Now, what do I have for the day? Oh, circadian rhythms, right. Okay. So that's set at 100%. So I was just double checking 255, living room lamps, and that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. Now, I'm going to delete this because I'm not going to use it anymore. Living room cube side up 5 after sunrise before sunset. It will change every bulb, living room lamps, and living room ceiling random colors. Okay. And that I can watch TV with all the different lights in the room. If I pick up number 5 and put it back down on number 5, it's actually pretty tight. How it changes like that. It's really cool. Just definitely see that. Okay, so now it does the same thing at night as well. Let's see. Okay, actually, do I have a night version of this? Oh, no wonder. Okay, so let me show you guys. Let me show you this. Okay, this is some things that yes, I was wondering why it wasn't doing something, but I never really investigated it. So on the night, the saturation is between 50 and 100. Saturation is more color. 100 is the highest. Okay. Now, if you look at my day, it's 1 to 50. So the lights will sometimes be white, and it may be somewhat of a color, only up to 50% saturation. So that's what I did here was I set it for day to have more or less saturation in the colors on the living room lamps. Okay. And then the night it will be more saturated, you know, more colorful. All right. And then the 6 is oh, okay, so sometimes, I have a switch and I'll show you that automation here in a minute. I have a switch or a button actually. When I single click, it turns all the kitchen lights on. Double click, it turns all of the kitchen lights off. Um, or at night, it goes into that color thing. So, but sometimes I'm like, I'll sit down, then I'm too lazy to get up off my little behind, well, big behind, and turn off the kitchen lights. So I just have a very simple number 6. Pick up number 6, drop it down, turns off the kitchen, then I pick up the cube and put it on something else. Too easy, right? And it does turn off the D&D of the kitchen lights. Because when I turn on the kitchen lights on the switch, it will automatically, let me go ahead and um, kitchen button, show you that real quick. So as you can see, I made some adjustments to circadian rhythm. It turns on the D&D, so the lights don't change. And then same thing with night. I have a scene here. I'll work with that later. And as you can tell, I need to work on this. I need to work on that definitely. Um, and kitchen off. Yep. The common areas I have if I long press it, I'll show you real quick. If I long press it, it will turn off all the lights in the living room and the kitchen. And so really and truly, I could take all of this off and just do a call to service for living room and kitchen. And then instead of turning off, boom, like it will literally just turn off. I can make it where it will do a 5 second turn off, make it prettier. And then this one here, I can do it to the ceiling lights because I do have a ceiling group and it will do everything to the ceiling group. and this one right here is by itself. So I'll work on this next. But yeah, that's all I want to show you. When you work on your automation, sometimes you have to kind of tinker with stuff. You will do something, it works, but then there's something about it that you need to work on. Something that will make it better. So I been tinkering on this all morning, and I probably will be working on the kitchen button at some point. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm thinking about getting some, two more motion sensors. So yeah, don't buy singlet Zigbee. Oh no, this is a Matter one. Oh wow, this is a Wi-Fi Matter. Hey, Wi-Fi Matter. Look at that. But here's the Zigbee one, right? But these are not repeaters. Do not get this. If you have a very small house and maybe you got, I don't know, 10 light bulbs, Zing LED works great. It works. It just works. It just works. Okay. Uh and so yeah, we're good. All right. I want to go ahead and cut this off. It's 31 minutes already. Almost 32 minutes. In the bottom, please like, subscribe, do all that great stuff. Comment below. Also share. Don't forget to share. And just and oh yeah, ring that notification icon. So if I publish any videos, there you go. Peace out.